All right, welcome back. Let's have a little fun and talk about you, the consumer, and also some very cool boats. Brunswick is the parent company of boat and engine brands you know, like Boston Whaler, Bayliner, Sea Ray, and Mercury. Company reporting third quarter sales rose nearly 8% across all business units. But what does the future hold for boating and consumer spending? Let's find out now. We are pleased to be joined by the CEO and chair of Brunswick, David Foulkes. David, it's great to have you on. We talked to the CEO of Malibu Boats a couple of weeks ago. I'll ask you the same thing that I asked him, which is, are you seeing any cracks in the consumer?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Brian. It's great to be on the show. I would say, in third quarter, sales stabilized very nicely. Obviously, second quarter was impacted by the tariff announcements and some of the gyrations of the capital markets. But I would say third quarter was very strong. We continue to see the buyer of premium boats and some of our core brands probably stronger than some of our more value boat buyers. But even the value boat purchases have stabilized as well. So I would say, a strong third quarter overall. As you mentioned, we have 4 reporting segments. All of them beat guidance and consensus top line, bottom line. So I would say that, really solid quarter for us and good indications of a strengthening consumer going forward.
The boats are made in the United States. You're headquartered right outside of Chicago, but some of the parts come from around the world. So what is, if any, the tariff impact for Brunswick?
Yeah, so as you say, we're very much a U.S. manufacturer. Something like 75% of all the products we make are manufactured in the U.S., and about 75% of our supply base is domestic as well. But we do import some components from other countries, China, Southeast Asia, Mexico, etc. This year, the full impact of tariffs on our business will be somewhere in the $75 million range. And that is primarily China-based tariffs, a few others. So even though China is only actually less than 5% of our supply base, because of the size of our company, that's about a $150 million-ish exposure, which gives us something like $75 million of tariff exposure. We've been working very hard to reduce that. We're reducing the content that we purchase from China, making it more domestic, vertically integrating, etc. But for this year, something like $75 million.
Hopefully this isn't too weird of a question, but I don't think it is, because you used to, in a previous life, you worked in oil and gas, you came up on the engine side, and you ran the racing program.
Yeah.
So if I want to throw a couple of twin 300 V8 Mercuries in the back of a boat, I care about gas and gas prices. How much, if at all, do lower gasoline prices matter to Brunswick, if at all?
They certainly help. And of course, gas prices have been low for quite some time now, historically speaking. But really, it isn't until gas starts to cross into the kind of $5 plus range that we see any material change in boating behavior. And even then, it's mostly boaters just curbing their use a little bit as opposed to not using their boats. So at the moment, I would say gas prices are very stable and historically pretty low. So certainly not an inhibitor to boating in any way at the moment.
Okay. Listen, I know the White House and the administration watch CNBC all day long. Hopefully they're watching right now. You've got the stage. What would you say to the White House as far as tariffs and the business environment right now, David?
Well, I would say that the good news for us is we're primarily a domestic manufacturer. And we have production facilities in 21 states in the U.S. So we stand on a long-term basis in an environment of persistent tariffs. We're probably at an advantage. If you think about our Mercury Marine business, you mentioned earlier, Brian, we manufacture pretty much all of our engines in the U.S. Most of our competitors are Japanese, so currently facing 15% import tariffs. So I would say, as a business, we are well equipped to deal with any environment, and certainly working to mitigate our tariff exposure going forward, but really well-placed, foundationally well-placed, I would say.
What I wanted to ask you is, what's the max horsepower I could theoretically safely put on a pontoon boat? Is it like 500? But we'll save that for the next interview. David Foulkes of Brunswick, you're welcome back anytime, David. Thank you very much.